back to Whitt Acres. It's the middle of October and we're going to be doing our 21st garden tour of the season. If you're just joining us, I'm here gardening in Zone 6A here in western Pennsylvania. I'm gardening here on 4 acres and I'm working on getting it completely planted out and turning it into my own Paradise Homestead. I get help from a pup echo. It is a beautiful day, especially for the middle of October, so we're going to go around and see what's still blooming before next week, which could possibly be our first frost of the season. So we're going to go around, see what's left out there before it all gets zapped. Come on with me. Starting out here on the island garden, if you've been following along, you know we have been working on this, getting this garden ready for the spring, or for the winter rather. I got my fire pit stone all placed out here for the fire pit that we moved. I got it just coming right off the peninsula, and we'll be putting in a metal bin in there to burn the fire in. Once we bring that down, we'll do a little bit of adjusting to make sure they're in the right spots, but it's looking pretty good. We'll put those blocks in there around the metal bin to help hold the heat away from the stone from cracking it. That's what those are there for. This island garden's looking a lot better. Got it edged out, weeded out, and I got the irises moved to the back like I was planning. And I also got the lilies placed into the front. All 6 lilies are in now, and this one even has some buds on it, getting ready to bloom. It's a nice yellow one. But this whole garden, you already know, is all cleaned up. I love that. I love that vine going around the outside there, all organized and maintained and controlled. And then this vine coming up this end looks pretty good too. Yeah, this is pretty much end of season for this area here. We just still have some color poking through. Got the blooms coming, seed pods coming off porcupine grass. Everything still has a little bit of interest coming in. Out here in the food forest, the calendula is shining bright through all the green bedding of the gourd. And we got some pretty good sized gourds now. Peek in here. We got full sized gourds, and if you want to make a birdhouse out of this, I actually did. It's in that maple tree over there. But this is a good size, and you can just drill a hole straight through there, clean it out once it's dried out. And then this one you can even just hook right on a branch because it has that arm curled. This one too, nice curled arm, you can hook that right on a branch. Perfect for some crafts. All my berries out here are done. I'm just pretty much leaving this place go because, well, I'm getting other things done and getting other areas ready for the fall, and then I'll just come out here once the frost zaps all my peppers and tomatoes and anything that doesn't survive the frost. I'll come in and rip all out and throw into the compost. But I'm just going to let everything go to seed and then come through and pick them when they're ready, nice and dried out. You can see the okra still putting off blooms, so I don't want to cut anything down that's still blooming out here for the pollinators. See the calendula shining bright. Look at this. And a big old caterpillar in my calendula. And a little honeybee. See, they still need food out here. The strawberry patch. My Malabar spinach is coming into bloom, starting to put off little pink pods. Still waiting for them to open up. I still have these tomatoes laying in here, but I don't think I have any good tomatoes on them. They just all rot off. This is all huckleberry, and it's turning real nice. A bunch of blooms on that. Still loving the weather because we're still getting plenty of hot weather for this time of year. Here's a good tomato. Ooh, a ladybug just landed on my camera. But here's a good tomato. Still a firm green tomato, and if I prop that up, it might ripen up before we get the cold weather coming in. All my basil here still supplying plenty of food for the honeybees. Can you see them on there? There's actually a bunch of honeybees on this basil right now. They're doing work. Look at them. Gorgeous. Got some French Dwarf Marigolds for them as well if they want them. And then we have this beautiful morning glory that's blooming up this, I think it's split second morning glory. This is the pink one. And it's coming up late, which is very appreciated. You can see more zinnias with powdery mildew on them, but they're pretty much the only thing that got powdery mildew. You can see my tomatoes and my basil, all good. kind of flopped over and they're dying back. They definitely don't have any disease. I have a hanging basket over here that finally started blooming with some baby rose nasturtium. It's a nice pretty red. My Pyracanthia berries are all bright orange now. The deer did take off a big chunk of that, but still got some berries on there. Some more marigolds. Their neighbor's blowing stuff up, so puppy's gonna run in here. Never mind, someone turning around in the driveway. Puppy. Back to the flowers. You can see my tomatoes, like I said, not diseased, but I did not single stem these ones like I should have, so they kind of flopped over, snapped, and split. But it's nice to see that there's no disease on them. My raspberries are putting off some canes. I'm not real concerned with the berries right now. I'm just glad to see that they're alive. I'm going to be putting up a new trellis for this area. I'll probably get that on video. I'll make a new box trellis for all my line of raspberries and blackberries. I'm going to pick one of these while it's ready and ripe. Still getting some raspberries, but no more blackberries. It looks like they're all done. But yeah, this whole run here is going to get a brand new trellis system. I think I might use bamboo, but I want to get all those canes wrangled up because some of them have thorns, and if I'm mowing this grassy edge, I don't want to be getting caught up by the thorns. Puppy keeps hearing the neighbor blowing up stuff, so he's a little on edge. And Pop, stay here, bud. This time of year, this is how the gardens really turn out. Completely overtaken by weeds. I still have sedum in there blooming, some impatiens blooming, the white daisies. I have the white gara blooming in there as well, but the weeds are just taking it over completely because I didn't get it mulched. If I got it mulched, this bed would have turned out a lot better, but oh well, try and do better next year. One thing that is doing better is my Dahlia bed. You can see one just finished up last night and fell apart, but I did get a bunch of purple ones, yellow ones, some big. Look how big this purple one is. I have 10-inch hands, so I would say that's about a 9-inch dahlia. Gorgeous. It's facing the wrong way. Wish it was facing this way, but the rest of the dahlias started coming in too. Got the red ones popping more blooms out. The yellow ones just aren't stopping anymore. They keep going. And then I got a bunch more Lilac Thyme, which is definitely my favorite this year. Just a beautiful color and shape. Really nice tight shape. Not real big where it gets all messy, but just gorgeous this year. You can see all those ones in there that fell over. Should really come in here and cut them off and make a nice little colorful arrangement. Even get the little yellow center once they open up fully. Just beautiful. Coming this way, we have some calendula blooming on the corner and some more pumpkin on a stick. So a lot of these are starting to rot away, but that's fine. They can rot right there, and yeah, I'll just look at them until they're gone. Frost is coming soon, so they don't have much longer anyway, but I probably could get a couple more branches off of these, and I just might. The archway got saved by that bamboo stick. It was lucky I got that, and I'm very thankful for it. There is some blooms up there that the bees are on right now. There's a lot of flies and other different pollinators, but definitely a lot of honeybees up there still getting the pollen while they can, because food's getting scarce out there. So my gourds are hanging over beautifully. You can see this nice little trio. Love how that just happened. Just gorgeous sitting on top of my honeysuckle. And then we have this apple gourd that dropped down low. Still looking good. Got my hammock in there. Come around this side, you see the gourds are still colorful, which is nice. Got that big grass holding off a real big shoot. That's probably 7 feet tall, and it's not going to snap either because my gourd grabbed it. That gourd's holding it on, so that big tall shoot's going to stay there. It's almost 8 feet because the pergola is 8 feet, so it's getting up there. The gourd's hanging over nicely over here, and my red trumpet vine needs some more places to go. It's all all finished up for the year, and you can see it's putting on its seed pods. Look like this. And yeah, it's not quite ready yet. That's real hard. Can't even break it, but yeah, I don't need any of those seed pods. That thing's gonna get pretty big on its own, and I only need one of them. The Paradise Vine's been done. I don't even think it's trying anymore with flower buds because we had some cold nights and I think it kind of gave up. The inside of the pergola is still just a nice place to be. I like it. It's not as full on top anymore, but still full enough. Oh, stop that from swinging. And I just love all the gourds dangling from it, and especially these fat ones I got this year. It's always nice because you never know what you're going to get with these gourds. Sometimes you get nice big fat ones and you can just think of all the different things you can do craft wise and make something out of them. Definitely one of my favorite areas is the front right now this season. Puppy, where are you going? Thanks for leaving. But I got the decorations out here. Just an orange pumpkin here and there really makes me smile. We have the pumpkins out here, which I really enjoy seeing orange dots everywhere. The mums are still going. That purple petunia basket really did good this year. And I still have some marigolds popping off some color. I believe this is the blanket flower, still blooming off nicely. And I got it a little bit weeded around the hosta garden to try and keep it clean, doing different little areas as I can. The impatiens are still full as they can be. Got a nice big marigold there right in the pathway, volunteered. Still some hosta blooms trying to come out. Still another volunteer impatient in there. You can see I got it pretty well weeded in there. Not 100%, but definitely looks better than it did. Over here in the circle, it's looking gorgeous. Got a nice red fall color on all that annual burning bush. I was really envisioning this with the lime green and now turning to red, and it's really nice when a plan comes together. It worked out beautifully. And then the burning bush over here, the volunteered, really just accented it, putting a nice little drift here. And the canna lilies are still blowing up. I'd like to get in there and dig them up while it's still nice weather, but really I can't go in there and destroy all the flowers while they're still blooming. So I'll probably be digging them up whenever the frost comes, and it'll be cold when I'm digging them up. But either way, my brother actually wanted some more banana peppers, asked if I still had some, and I do still have some banana peppers, good bit actually. So he wants to cut those up and freeze them so he can make some sausage, hot sausage in the winter. The sedum split, but the elephant ears are still going. Did you see the tree? The lilac tree is doing great. Completely filled up with the vines. Not completely, but better than it was last year. I think it looks good. It's hard to see, but we have the cardinal climber right there with the fern type foliage. And then going up to the purple hyacinth bean vine is up there as well, and then an apple gourd. It looks good in person. You'll just have to trust me. Down here we have the orange Easter peppers, orange and purple. And then I have a ton of volunteer tomatoes because I had a blueberries tomato out here and just let it go. So it dropped off 1 million volunteers. Out here, one of my decorative gourds finally rotted away, I guess. I still have some petunias blooming out here, and it looks like one of my decorative gourds rotted away. On the mailbox trellis, it's still looking gorgeous. It has the clematis still blooming on top, and it has that nice feathery grass behind it, which I'm liking it. Out here's a mess. I got to come out here and clean all this up. Just have the nasturtiums blooming, some petunias. And the giant castor bean is still a nice focal point. I gotta probably come in here and prune my black lace elderberry as well. It's getting pretty lanky and ugly. Really gotta get out here and do some work to that. I don't want that looking like that next year. But here we have the castor bean. You can see all the seed pods ready on that. Once they dry out a little bit more nasturtiums. Nice yellow one here with kind of a red throat like that. And we got a ton of mushrooms. Ton of mushrooms coming up here. A bunch there. Another kind here. Just neat fungus coming up in the wood chips. Then I got my big bunch of 4 o'clocks. Some more petunias. Nasturtium still blooming, and a gorgeous, gorgeous Empress tree. This thing will get pruned back next year. I have one of these out back, and it grew its first year probably 15 feet. I still got to measure that one, but this one's still a star child because it grew real tall the first year, probably about 10-12 feet, and then it branched out pretty good symmetrically, so it's been doing amazing. Over here I have a confused hollyhock because it is mid-October and it's trying to bloom again. Go ahead and try hollyhock. Coming out to this little triangle area here, it just looks beautiful with all the little splashes of color. I did end up weeding this yesterday to just clean up the mulch area and highlight the color of plants. Highlight the plant colors a little bit better. And I like it. I like it. There's a lot of work to do out here. I'm just trying to pick it off one by one until I can get it all done. You got the limelight hydrangeas starting to autumn off there as well. And the front's just looking rather nice. Up. That hedge of ranunculus is still looking beautiful. Not up close, but at a distance it's looking beautiful. Like I said, it's mid-October and the perennial garden is completely covered in weeds. The cleome's popping off some color, looking beautiful. And yeah, we got some goldenrod in there and some zinnias. And then the birds have been all over this weed, whatever it is. They've been taking all these seed tufts. Got some morning glories blooming all through there. It's not bad. I mean, it's weedy, really weedy, but I still see the beauty in it. You know, there's a lot of good looking things in there yet. Even that goldenrod I think looks pretty good. I think it looks good like that. It's my garden, so anything I want stays. A new addition is this yew tree. We had one more yew and I wanted to place it over here so they can grow up and block off this little area here. You can't tell that I need it, but there's a house through the cornfield right there, and I want this area blocked off so it doesn't look straight into our backyard here. That area in there is not too bad. I think it's pretty much good to go for the winter. I don't have any problem. You can see my dogwood here. My white dogwood is autumning off beautifully. Nice red tipped leaves right now. I'm hoping that thing flowers next year. It'll be its 3rd year and I'm hoping it flowers. Because like my greenhouse, nice volunteer marigold there, and my kaleidoscope buddleia is still blooming a little bit, but my greenhouse needs cleaned out. I have not been in here since early summer when I was pulling out all my plugs, but it's a disaster in there and it needs a good cleaning. Maybe I'll do a video on it. Let me know down below if you want to see that. But coming down to the vegetable garden, I'll just show you what's going on here. Not a lot of food's going on, but the marigolds are looking good. I plugged in a new hibiscus plant going right here. I think it's white. Let me see the tag. Yep, it's a white with a red center called Copper King. Got the red bud there. There's a pink yarrow and then a black tower elderberry. I'm starting to get this area planted out from that marigold. It's going to come out to the red bud and back in, kind of expanding this garden area. The pollinator patch is still looking beautiful. These French dwarf marigolds are probably my favorite this year because they're holding up well to the dry times and they're doing pretty good with the cold temperatures. And I think they'll even go a little bit longer if we get near frost without killing them off. These zinnias will be going at the first sign of frost, but the bees are getting every lick they can out of them. I think that worked out really well this year for a little pollinator patch. They were just a bunch of extra little plugs I had in I think a 128 cell tray. I threw them in there real late and it just worked because they took their time and now they're in full bloom while everything else is dying back. This is a giant nasturtium that I transplanted from out front. You can see it's really coming into full bloom. That's one plant that won't survive any length of frost or any hint of frost. It'll be dead. It'll even die probably the night before because it would just be scared of the frost. I have a leek in here. good sized leek right there, and a couple more, so maybe we'll be pulling that out for some leek soup here soon. I have some carrots in there as well. I need to clean this bed out, leaving the flowers in that bed for now, and some carrots, and it looks like an onion or two is in there as well. I have some lemon basil drying out here because I want to pull some seeds from it. Chard is the only thing really still going in here. Chard and a little bit of the kale, but I think the bugs are starting to eat the kale. And the chard's probably so old it doesn't even have flavor in it anymore. It's just there because I don't like to see the garden empty and dead. I'd rather leave the wall of gherkins even though I'm not eating any of them. I'll have plenty of months during the winter to look at everything dead. So I leave it up as long as I can. Oh, that's the Empress tree I wanted to tell you about. Look how tall it is. She is massive. So this is a first year tree, like I keep telling you. I cut it down. You can see the stump right there. And it shot off a new sucker straight from that same root stalk. And look how tall it got. That is huge. I gotta get a tape measure on this tree, but it is the world's fastest growing tree for a reason. The Palemonian Tomatosa, or Royal Empress tree. Just gorgeous. I grew this tree from seed in a pot, grew it up over winter, and planted it 4 years ago. And I cut it down every year because I want a nice healthy root system down the bottom. And this year it finally sent up a nice tall sprout. And if I can get this to branch out next year kind of even, I'll leave it stay tall. If not, I'll have to cut it back down and try again. Looking out the tree line, my autumn blaze red maples looking real nice. My swamp white oak is just starting to autumn off there in the center. And after that is a bald cypress in the swamp, we call it. It is turning out a nice amber red as well. We're going to be adding 3 to 5 something maple trees out that line. And they're going to be pretty mature trees, so it'll actually fill that out this fall and make a good change for next year's fall. Be real colorful out that line. Over by the patio we have some yellow roses blooming. Nice little orange one. And I think the reds are just finishing up. And one actually is just starting here. But yeah, the roses are about done. A lot of stuff's finishing up. You can see my goldfish pond. I will be doing a video on this teardown here soon. I think this week I might even be pulling that bog filter apart, cleaning it, transferring my goldfish to the indoor pond, and resetting up the bog filter on the indoor pond for the extra filtration. You can see I still have 5 feeder goldfish. I started out with 6, and one did end up dying last week, which is sad. I was trying to get all 6 into the house before winter, but I still got 5. They look pretty hungry, and hopefully I can get them to grow out to a little bit bigger size before I put them into the koi pond next year. Over here in my poppy bed we have some Myrtle's Folly blooming. Just gorgeous. This is a beautiful dahlia. It has just frilly frays everywhere. I like the colors too. Look at this one, even darker, younger, brighter, more beautiful. Inside here there was one there, it's done. But you can see here we have a fall crocus blooming. One I planted this spring, I believe. And we still have a couple poppies popping off here. And that's why I can't reach in there and tear everything off, because I like having those little bit of poppies blooming and these dahlias blooming. It just adds a nice little bit of color over here. And I want color as long as I can have it. Over on the corner we still have a couple black dahlia blooms, and you can see that little red flare it gets. I like it, but it's not the showiest dahlia, so it's not going to go back here next year. It is just starting, well, I guess the leaves are kind of dying off. But down below we have portulaca still blooming, we got the coral bells blooming, and even some petunia in there, still going strong. And today you're all lucky, we got a beautiful red hibiscus bloom. Gorgeous. that corner worked out really well. Probably do something very similar next year, but that Myrtle's Folly Dahlia might go here instead. I have these dianthus that I recently planted, and they're still trying to bloom as well. I got them all in between my blue fescue. They're kind of blue, and I don't know, it worked. I had 5 of them, so I had 5 gaps there, and that's where they went. Also off the patio, my Mina Laboda Jungle Queen finally started blooming. The hummingbirds do love this. You can see going up, I like the shape of the leaves. You can see they autumn off into a deep purple and red, and then they just have all those blooms coming off the top. And then it even comes in here and it's blooming inside here. Just being gorgeous. Love it. Do a quick look at the edge of the bank here, because we still have some zinnias and cosmos blooming, as well as some marigolds down there too. And the purple wave petunias are actually still going. Oh my, look at that spider web. Oh, that's a nasty looking spider. Is that focusing? And it's not going to focus, but there's a big spider web going from that gladiola over to the zinnia. So still doing work there. You can see the zinnias are dying back. Those ones are definitely ready for seed collection. And we got a nice little nasturtium going into full bloom over here. It's just giving a beautiful poppy yellow. Loving it. And above that is this firecracker plant. It was supposed to be like crack for a hummingbird, but I haven't seen any of the hummingbirds on it. It does have that funnel shape that hummingbirds should like. Maybe they just never found it, but it got big, just not real showy. In here you can see, I don't even remember which butterfly bush this is. Ooh, don't grab that one. Hey buddy. But it's a buddleia, and it might be a pugster proven winter one, not sure. But that'll be coming back next year. Gotta make sure to leave that there and not dig it out with the pond. Up up. So that is the gardens at this time of year here in middle of October. So we got through our 21st weekly garden tour, which is a lot of garden tours. And we might be able to get through one more before the frost comes, and I'll do probably one more after that to show you all the destruction from the frost. Other than that, we will be doing projects and cleanup videos and anything else I can put out as I am making this property into a paradise. So go ahead, subscribe down below, hit that like button if you like what you see, and comment down below to become part of the conversation. You can see me and Echo. Hey bud. Try and do an exit. Echo. You can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching.